Have you ever wanted to do something, be something, try something out, and not know where to start? Or, let me backtrack. Have you ever wanted to do something, be something, and think that it's unrealistic and not even try? This is an issue. A lot of us have been conditioned from childhood to not trust our intuition. We don't trust our instincts. We look to other people for answers. What should I be doing with my life? What should my next step be? And then when we have our own answers, we're like, no, that's not realistic enough. It couldn't be. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not smart enough. I'm not tall enough. I don't have enough money for this or for that. Because we've been taught from a young age to stop listening to ourselves. That's an issue, y'all. But you know what? We're here. We're going to fix it together. So this is how to learn to trust our intuition, because each of us have an intuition, and you should be trusting your intuition. The reason other people don't understand the dreams that you have, because it's not their dreams. They're your dreams. Your dreams. And yes, your dreams may impact others of service to the community. Great. But they're your dreams, and they started from you. So nobody else can believe that vision that you have until you start to believe the vision that God gave you. All right, babes. I gotta do my hair, so let's do my hair and talk. To actually fix an issue or to fix something that you have, we really need to get to the roots of it, because it's from the roots of it that you're able to understand, why did this whole thing come up? When you were young, you trusted your intuition. You were a baby, you knew what to do. You literally knew every step you needed to take. You were curious. And it's from those small points in childhood, those curiosities that your parents were like, no. Those small things that you said and your parents were like, no, or your guardian said no to. It was those small things that began to make you distrust your intuition and distrust that inner voice that you had. There are so many times that we have that inner knowing. I'm gonna give y'all an example. When I was young, we had this house help. I did not like the house help one bit. And my mom listened to me. We ended up having to fire her because there was something happened, something that was, I think it was like adult things, and when I was young. So I don't know what happened, but they had to let her go for something that wasn't right. And so let's just say children are blessed with an intuition, but if in that circumstance my mom was like, no, the house help is staying, it begins to make me distrust my intuition. Or even when kids say, hey, I want to be an actor, or I have a creative strength, and their parents are like, no, that's not a feasible job, you need to go in another direction. Those are small signs that the child is like, okay, I'm not enough in this area. Small signs the child's like, I can't trust myself with the decisions. Small things that end up being big things when the child gets older. We're not putting blame on anybody, but we're taking things in our own hands, and we're learning how to take back our power and actually trust our intuition from so much distrust from such a young age. I have been cultivating my intuition, maybe a lot more the past couple of years. I've had a pretty strong intuition for the most part, but I'm in a medical field, so sometimes you just gotta listen. And your intuition has to be big as well in the medical field too, because there are certain things that you may not see on instant that will literally save a patient's life. But I've been cultivating my instincts in a different way. I've been tapping more into my feminine energy, and with the feminine energy comes a lot of listening to your body. What does it say? Because that's one of our gifts as women, having that intuition and leading by intuition. Men do more of leading by logic in their masculine energy, and women do more of the intuition through their feminine energy. And that's a big part of what they bring to a relationship. So if you ever feel like, I'm a woman, what do I bring? Baby, your intuition. And it's strong. Literally, will save lives. Will save lives. The reason I've had to do so much intuition work in the past couple months is because I said I'm done with playing on masculine energy. I'm done with being in my masculine energy. I had to do a lot of intentional feminine wound healing. And a part of that as well is dipping back into my intuition. When I'm dipping back into my intuition rather than logic, it can be a little bit scary, especially if you're not used to dipping into your intuition and you're used to rather working on logic. So y'all have heard this story a million times, but just making that decision to leave the medical school route for me, that was very much like masculine energy. I know what I'm going to do, very logical. Step one, get from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 and continue on with life, because I know how life is going to look in a certain way, or at least the layout of things. But right now I'm in an era where I don't know what life is going to look like. I don't actually know what I want to do, and it's been really important for me to just tap into my intuition. What does God want for me? What does the universe want for me? Because it's going to set me on that path, and I need to listen, being open to receiving. So let's talk about how we can just get into this energy. Firstly is, like I said, being open to receiving. Your intuition is right there. It's in all of us, but so many times we block it because we don't think we're good enough and we don't think our intuition's right. You actually listen to what's going on, you actually listen to your inside, and you're open to receiving what's for you. You're going to get so many messages of what's for you and for your life. When I was about 10 years old, I was making the decision whether I wanted to stay home and go to a day school or if I wanted to go to a boarding school. That was a very tough decision for me because I was a mom's girl and I loved being at home. I had never been away from home for more than maybe a couple days at that point. And I had really bad separation anxiety as a kid. We never used to call it that, but looking back now, it was horrible separation anxiety. And I was like, you know what? I wanted to think about it. I wanted to pray about it for a couple of days. My parents really left me to make that decision. They really did cultivate a big intuition spirit within me. And I was open to receiving what was for me. Even though I knew I might not like it, I was open to receiving. After a couple of days, I had that inner knowing of what I needed to do. I knew it was going to be super uncomfy, 6 years away from my parents, but I knew it was the right step. I just can't really fathom how I, at that age, was just like, you know what? I want to do what's right for me, not for what I want, but what's right for me. And that was the space my life was supposed to go in at that point in time. I can tell you that for sure. Y'all, how does this look? Okay, let's put it back. I was going to do some cute little tendrils, but hell no. Okay, I think this is better. How y'all think this look? Little Miss Prissy, yeah. So being open to receiving, having your heart open, knowing that you might not exactly have the answers right then, but the answers are on their way to you, being in that state of listening. Let me tell you how we can get to that state of listening, because so many times we're just hearing all these things, just talking, or just like it's noise around you all the time. So how do you get into that state where you're actually able to receive? There are a couple of skills that we can do. Some of my favorite are meditation. Meditation is great. Meditation is the textbook definition of listening to your intuition, listening to your inner knowing, quieting the space so that you can receive the downloads. That's typical. Another way is writing. I completed a intensive on mind-body skills a couple weeks ago, and I'd actually done this skill within my program, my integrated medicine master's program. I'm going to explain it to you. So you get a piece of paper, and we're consulting with our wise guide, and you can write down whatever problem you have, and however you want to do this, however it resonates with you, you speak about your problem and what you want to know. And you ask directly, do you know what I'm supposed to do? Do you know what the answers to these questions are? And your inner self might know, and it may give you answers. Other times you can wait a couple days. You've already asked. Ask and it is given. Ask and you shall receive. You're asking for answers. Eventually it's going to come. If you don't think it's there at that point in time, it's going to come eventually. Or somebody else may bring you the answer. But remaining open in that state to receiving is also key so that when the answer comes, you are ready to listen. I have this friend who loves music, absolutely loves music, and just like loves music, loves noise, can't deal with quietness. When we're always bombarded by the outside words, the subliminals, the messages that we listen to, there's always something going on in our ears. When are you ever with your own thoughts? When do you ever listen to yourself? When do you ever get to cultivate your intuition? When do you ever get to be in a place of listening to what wants to come through? Those are just the beginning steps of beginning to listen to ourselves. And yes, it's scary because when you're with your thoughts, there's some things that come up that you may have not wanted to tackle. But that's how we actually get in the habit of listening to ourselves. What does your inner child want to say? Now, apart from just asking, are you making space for the answers that want to come through? Creating space can look in different forms. I spoke about the first form where we create space in that meditation. You create space in your mind. You turn off the music, you turn off the words, you turn off the movies, and just listen. Another way we can create space is physically. Like physically in our space, we create space. And you can do this by getting rid of the things that don't serve you. When I say, like, there are so many things that are interconnected and everything is one at the end of the day. So small things translate to big things. Having the ability to do something as simple as, or as hard as, cutting off your dead ends. You are taking out what doesn't serve you to make space for the new growth, what's for you to serve you. Cleaning out your closet, doing a spring cleaning. You're getting rid of what doesn't serve you to allow what serves you to come into your life. There are so many new things that want to come into your life, but the old things, you're holding on to them. That ex, why do you keep calling him? Why do you keep texting him? It's done. He is done. He served you then, doesn't serve you anymore. You need to cut it off fully and move on. But you don't trust yourself. You don't trust your intuition that that was that. You've not actually learned to trust your intuition that you need to leave this and let it go. And it's not just trusting. Maybe you may know that you need to leave this, but you just don't want to leave it because you don't trust the next thing is going to be even better. We need to get into that habit of learning to trust ourselves and create space. You can't expect that new thing to come into your life if you've not made space for it. And unfortunately, sometimes that hurts. You are cutting off what you may have known, what is familiar. You all already know that as humans, we crave comfort. We crave that familiarity of what we've always known. But when we take that step to say, hey, I've always known this, but I know it's not best for me right now, and I've got to let it go because it doesn't serve me, then you make space. You're saying to God and the universe, hey, I've made space for what you know is for me to come into my life. And your future self will thank you so much for what you've done. Yo, we're making oatmeal for breakfast. This is not just any kind of oatmeal. This is your Trader Joe's oatmeal. Okay, y'all. On a more serious note, this oatmeal, I love it. Love it. I love it. I love it. I definitely completely forgot I was filming and did not end up finishing the rest of the video. So, to wrap it up, the ways to tap into your intuition is 1, creating space to receive. 2, asking and doing it so with a clear mind. So we're talking about meditation. You can journal and ask your wise guide. And then we said creating space physically, so cutting off those dead ends, taking out people. I don't like taking that. Releasing what no longer serves you, whether that is people in your life or situations in your life that no longer serves you. And being present in the moment. I think that's what I said. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay safe. I hope you like this new format. Y'all, stay safe. Okay? Love and light.